Alright everybody, I was having some trouble with this, figured somebody else might be too, so I thought I'd make a quick little video on how the shifter cable and parking lock cable attach in a, I believe it's about a 61 to 64 Mopar 904 push button 3-speed automatic transmission. So this guy hanging down right here is your shifter cable, and it attaches to the push buttons inside on the dash, goes in and out, has an O-ring, has a retention washer on it there, and on the driver's side top of your transmission, this is where it runs into. This little flange is what your cable hooks into, and it has that little locker right there. So most of the time, the way you take this out, you take out your one bolt that sits right there, then you can pull on this part. It'll slide out enough to where you can see right here. It's pretty difficult, but I'll slide this back here. From that hole on top, you will see this spring, and let me see if I can push it down with one hand here since I'm filming. Maybe. There we go. So that spring locks into this slot just like that. So once you pull it out, and you can see it through this hole, you'll take a long, thin screwdriver, get in here, and you push that spring. Let me get a screwdriver here. Take a screwdriver, you push that spring up, and then push it back until it locks off, and then you can pull the whole thing out to remove your transmission. If you cannot get this to slide out, the O-ring is probably froze up. So what you can do there is pull your pan off, access this little tube right here. Like I say, take you screwdrivers, you take two, it's easier. Push up on that and then push back on this side with another one. And it will pop that spring off, and then you'll be able to see right about here. Actually, let me put this in here and I'll show you how it works. So, this cable, sorry, I'm gonna lose video here for a second. Gonna go up in there like this. Bear with me. Okay, so looking at it from the bottom, you can see where that sits over. It has the O-ring. If you can't get it out, push it in to where you can access the O-ring. Slide the slide up here a little bit. Pop that O-ring out or cut it. Move that spring up, and then you'll be able to pull it out. Okay, that's to remove the transmission. When you're ready to put everything back together, you make sure that that spring is in the right spot. And if you're doing this without the pan installed, just do it through this hole on top. You can look in there, use flashlight, use a little screwdriver, make sure that that spring is locked in that slot. You have an assistant hold the reverse button down inside of the car, and that pushes the cable out to its furthest point. And it doesn't really matter where this part is sitting because it'll move back and forth. Make sure that the cable is as far out pushed as you can. Slide it into the slot until it locks, and then as you can see, this flange is threaded on the cable there. So you move your retainer up here, thread it on there, get it situated, and bolt it in, and then just make sure all of your push buttons work. And you can tighten and loosen this to adjust it to make sure that all of your push buttons work. So that was giving me a lot of trouble, and I figured that since I couldn't find any more information on it, that I might make a little video about it just to help out anybody in the future. So that is the shifter cable. I will show you real quick the park cable. So this is back a little bit. This is on the back of the transmission by the transmission mount, and it's a very similar setup. This is your retainer. The cable goes into it this way. Right here you have a little hex head plug. You remove that, and it has a very similar spring like we had up here on the shifter cable. You move it the same way, you push it up and back, and it lets this cable pop out once you've removed this retainer. To install, it's the opposite. You insert it until it pops in, pop the spring up. You can replace that plug at that point. Don't over tighten it, stripping it out. and then just tighten up your retainer until it's all snug, and you can go in there and you can move your shifter lock lever up and down. So any questions, comments, or anything that I've gotten wrong or fabricated along the way, please just notify me, and hope this helps anybody else out. Ta-ta.